You hear my cries and reassure me that my strength will not fade. For your way is good and your way is righteous. I've walked down many roads and I know the truth is, oh, it's on me to seek you, Lord. It's on me to choose your way. I will turn away from this world and run to you, 'cause I know that it's on me to throw it on you. There is a war and it is mine, for it is Christ who paid the price for me and laid down his life. I don't fear to be weak or blind. I turn from my ways and I choose to stand by his side. For his way is good and his way is righteous. I've walked down many roads and I know the truth is, oh, it's on me to seek you, Lord. It's on me to choose your way. I will turn away from this world and run to you. And I will keep my eyes locked on him and feel the cold as my feet walk on water. And though the waves of sin demand my attention, I will look straight at my Father. 'Cause it's on me to seek you, Lord. It's on me to choose your way. I will turn away from this world and run to you. Oh, it's on me to seek you, Lord. It's on me to choose your way. I will turn away from this world and run to you, 'cause I know that it's on me to throw it on you.
I've carried a burden too long on my own. I wasn't created to bear it alone. I hear your invitation to let it all go. I see it now. I'm laying it down, and I know that I need you. Run to the Father, fall into grace. I'm done with the hiding, no reason to wait. My heart needs a surgeon, my soul needs a friend. So I'll run to the Father again and again and again and again. Oh, 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 oh. You saw my condition, had a plan from the start. Your son for redemption, the price for my heart. And I don't have a context for that kind of love. I don't understand, I can't comprehend. All I know is I need you. Run to the Father, fall into grace. Done with the hiding, no reason to wait. My heart needs a surgeon, my soul needs a friend. So I run to the Father again and again and again and again. Oh, 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 again and again. Oh, 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 oh.
My heart has been in your sight long before my first breath. Running into your arms is running to life from death. And I feel this rush deep in my chest. Your mercy is calling out. And just as I am, you pull me in. And I know I need you now. So I run to the Father, fall into grace. I'm done with the hiding, no reason to wait. My heart found a surgeon, my soul found a friend. So I run to the Father again and again and again and again. Oh, 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 and again and again. Oh, 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 again and again. You may now be seated.
We can both share a story because we've both got a story to share.
Oh, that's nice.
Okay. Hello, everybody. How is your week? No, come with me. We can co-host Friday night Malak youth group together.
boys and girls. Very fun. No?
No, that was fine.
You said co-host.
So Marie wants to share a story.
Mario does too.
While David's getting Tasoni set up, you start because your story, like,
I don't know.
we
You
could
don't
probably
know
share
my
it together.
story.
Yeah, I don't know your story, but you go.
Do I know your story?
I don't know.
Oh.
I feel like.
Oh, well, scissors, paper, rocket.
All right, cool.
For all those watching at home.
Scissors, paper, rock. Okay,
That
you go
means
first.
you go first.
Oh, does it? Okay.
I don't know.
No, you go first.
No, you go.
Ladies before gentlemen.
Oh, age before beauty.
Nice one. Go on.
Okay.
I'll sit down for your story.
All right. No, you stand up.
Okay.
I would prefer that you sit down.
I'm going to stand up.
I'm sorry, Mario. I've actually asked you kindly to sit down.
No, because
So
then you're
could
going to ask me to stand back up.
Yeah, you're right. So I just wanted to share a story that happened, not actually to me, but I was told this story from my head teacher at school. So I work at a public school, and public schools are not notorious for having religious people in them. And I'll just tell the story the way that I told these people over here. Not relevant to the story, but the kid that is the main person in this story is Indigenous. Again, not really relevant, but like great bloke. Anyways, so my head teacher was telling me about an exam that he had a few weeks back, and there were invigilators, and they basically just like roam up and down making sure people aren't cheating, not like our kids really would. They don't care that much, but anyways. And he was having like an altercation with this invigilator, all because he had the Bible on his desk. And we didn't know that this kid could actually like read the length of the Bible, but he's apparently read the whole thing through. And our literacy, I just want to point it out there, our literacy levels of our kids aren't that great, but he wanted to read the Bible and he read the whole thing, which was really cute. And like, yeah, he's in year 10, but yeah. Yeah, so yeah, he was having an altercation with the invigilator, and then my head teacher walked over and was like, student, what's going on? And then he's like, he wants to take my Bible and he's telling me to put it on the ground. I'm not putting the Bible on the ground. And Maggie was like, Lachlan, it's just because, you know, we don't know what's in it, etc. Like, you've got to treat it like real exams. And he's like, I'm not putting the Bible on the ground, and he was so adamant about it. So the invigilator and my head teacher went through the Bible just together, so that way the invigilator could see there's no cheating going on. Everything is just normal. It's just a regular old Bible. By the way, it's just like, it's this big. It's very tiny. It's geography. Do not laugh. Because
North of the great city of Judea, you know.
in geography, we use maps, thank you very much. There is usually a map located in a Bible. Yeah, it's just like, it's not necessarily, but, you know, you could pass it off as, if you've never thought about cheating with the Bible, now is your time to shine. Don't do it at home, kids. And then Maggie was like, well, why do you have it there? Like, why couldn't you just leave it alone? And he was like, because you told me that God is going to be by my side and I want him with me in this exam. And I was like, she told me that story, and I was like, oh, my heart. I have one. It beats. And it grew 3 times that day. And that was my little story. But carry a Bible. I can check. I'm not 100% sure. We'll see how he goes. No, I think he passed, if I'm being honest. Yeah, but it was just really cool because you don't really see it often in a public school anyways, that's like happening, and it's almost as if it's not a good thing that you like carry that around, but he doesn't really seem to care, which is very nice. And I guess it's just a smack in my face because and he's Indigenous, and he's all for it. Your turn. You turned it off.
Yeah, I know. It's okay. Well, my story is not as religious and spiritual as that one.
Should I sit down?
Yeah, sit down.
Okay.
Does anyone here play music or instruments?
Wow.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
You wanted me to sit down for that question?
No, because I was going to tell you about how my singing career got shut down when I was in primary school. Should I tell the story? Yes. Okay, I'll tell the story. No, because when I was in primary school, I was telling my parents this story at dinner tonight because I go for dinner at my parents' house on Friday. Anyway, when I was in primary school, I think it was kindergarten or year 1, something like that. They had this person, they come in and they get you to sing these songs as a whole class, and then they go walk around, and as you're singing, they're like listening, you know, and then
it's like scouts.
Yeah, like scouts, exactly scouts. So I was singing, I think it was the national anthem or something, and then after the song, everyone sat down, and then she said, okay, this person stand up, and I was one of the people that she asked to stand up, right? And she goes, okay, everyone can leave the classroom now, and then I was left with 2 other people, and then we got a note saying, oh, you know, this was some scouting agency, you've been selected to like go to, you know, some sort of, I don't know, like practice thing. Anyway, so I took it home, really proud of myself that my singing career was going to get started, okay, in kindergarten or year 1. And I take it to my dad, and he looked at it, and he's like, singing, rubbish. And he chucked out the paper. So till this day, I have a grudge against my dad who didn't let me pursue my singing career. And whilst Mark and you were singing that beautiful hymn, I was thinking to myself, if only I knew how to like play music or sing or, you know, do something with my voice. Like I could have been of some use to society at some point. But anyway, that's my boring story. I think, perfect timing, because Tasoni is ready to share with us a special message, complacency and how to rely on God, which I think is quite relevant in this day and age. So I don't know which one you prefer, handheld, microphone to your mouth, up to you. I think it's a bit more free. I like this better than that, but some people like that.
Okay. It's all good? Hi, everybody. How are you all? Okay.
Good, thanks. How are you?
Good. Okay, so today's topic is on complacency and how to rely on God. I know it sounds obvious, but hopefully what we're going to do is just go through the meaning of complacency and its effect on you, and then its effect on your spirituality.
Technical difficulties. Coming up. Have a chat by any means.
Okay, actually, that's a good idea because I thought I understood complacency. I don't know if I completely understood it. Do you guys, what's your meaning of complacency?
Please raise your hand.
What does it mean? I've got a couple of official meanings of it, but in your mind, what is the idea of complacency?
Oh, wait.
Very good. I like that.
Wait, no.
He said getting comfortable.
You just hold.
Like lacking consistency, being lazy.
Okay, yes, that's very good. Anybody else? I think that's it very much sums it up, but
I was going to say, like reaching a level of comfort where you don't feel like putting in any effort is necessary.
yes, perfect. Have you been looking it up? Okay. So basically, it is I found two good meanings of it. A feeling of smug or uncritical satisfaction with oneself or one's achievements. Another one is a feeling of calm satisfaction with your own abilities or a situation that prevents you from trying harder. So a calm satisfaction would give you the sense that, okay, everything's good, I'm happy, I'm fine, everything seems to be going okay. So to be complacent means to feel satisfied with your current state. So just like Maria said, you don't really want to, you're not inclined to want to try to make anything better because everything is okay already and you're quite happy with it. So again, it's a self-satisfaction. And I think that the problem with it is that we are not aware of anything that's going on around us that could possibly be negative because we just don't see it. Complacency is a blight. I like this. Somebody anonymous wrote it. Complacency is a blight that saps energy, dulls attitudes, and causes a drain on the brain. The first symptom is satisfaction with things as they are. The second is rejection of things as they might be. Good enough becomes today's watchword and tomorrow's standard. Like water, complacent people follow the easiest course, downhill. They draw false strength from looking back. So I think that's something to also remember. Just the idea of drawing the strength from looking back. That will be relevant later on. An example when we were younger of complacency is the fable that we all have heard many, many times when we were younger about the hare and the tortoise. So you've got this hare, like a rabbit, and a tortoise, the land turtle, and the hare naturally is physically faster, and the tortoise is naturally slow. So we know what the outcome is going to be. It's very, very, very likely that the hare is going to win, but he doesn't win. Actually, he doesn't, and the reason why is because he was so complacent. Among other things, there was something going on with Mr. Hare, but he just became so complacent that he lost an unlosable race. So these are the dangers of being complacent. Now, for a Christian, I got the same verse in two different versions, and you can see the difference. It's actually a lot easier in the international version. So in the New King James Version, in Amos, it says, "Woe to you who are at ease in Zion and trust in Mount Samaria." The international version would say, "Woe to you who are complacent in Zion and to you who feel secure on Mount Samaria." So again, just the idea, the Bible in many places is telling us not to be complacent, and we'll see why. It's dangerous for Christians because it means you are not growing. If you're not, actually, I love this thing that Dr. Phil says, and he says it all the time, and he says you can't change what you don't acknowledge. So if you don't acknowledge something, you can't change it. It's not going to happen. And if you're not acknowledging that there's potential for something that could possibly be a little bit better, then it's never going to change. So again, for a Christian, the Bible makes it very clear that we are not meant to be standing still. Things are not meant to just be as they are. You're not supposed to be just happy with the status quo. In 2 Peter, can somebody read it? I just started, my voice is...
Who'd like to read?
But also for this very reason, giving all diligence, add to your faith virtue, to virtue knowledge, to knowledge self-control, to self-control perseverance, to perseverance godliness, to godliness brotherly kindness, and to brotherly kindness love.
Yeah, so you don't stop, you keep adding. Okay, if you got this, you start with that. Okay, no, you move forward to the next thing, and then you move forward to the next thing, and you just keep going and going. You don't stand still, you keep going. He continues with the next verse to say, Mark.
For if these things are yours and abound, you will be neither barren nor unfruitful in the knowledge of our Lord Jesus Christ.
Okay, so in other words, if you are complacent, with your growth in God, it's not good. You are in danger. You are not going to be very fruitful. But if you're not, things will change and progress, and you'll be able to move and grow. All right. So as Christians, being complacent is an issue, as you can see. So later on, we're going to talk about different scenarios where you could be complacent. But as a Christian, where it's relevant for us, there are so many negative connotations with it. And like we were saying, just not growing is a main one, and it's a big one, and it's very, very important. So as a Christian, again, you are always trying to seek Christ. He always gives us victories. But the problem with being complacent is sometimes you rely on these past victories, and then you think, okay, so that's it. He's going to keep doing it, or I don't need to do very much. But that, again, is the problem where we end up standing still. We're not moving forward because we're depending on either our own past successes or our victories with Christ. But I think what he's trying to do is that he's wanting us to continue in this battle to win and to continue fighting and to continue doing more, and so that the next battle, which will need a lot bigger reliance, we are there and equipped to do it. Can you see how there could be an issue with complacency if you are just standing still and not doing anything? Okay, so what is it that what would you do? What would you do? I think the answer everybody knows. You read the Bible, you've got matanyas, you volunteer, you pray, you give your time, you fast, you serve, and then you just repeat and repeat and repeat for the rest of your life. Don't stop, keep going. It seems like, okay, I've done it. Well, you got to do it again. That's exactly what happens. You get a break, then the fast starts again. We get a bit of a break and it starts again. You serve every Sunday, for example, if you're doing Sunday school, and you come back again. Well, you gave your lesson, yeah, but you got to keep going. It doesn't stop. Just like you go to work, it doesn't stop. When you are at home with your family, you converse with them. You don't have one conversation, say, okay, that'll do me for the week. You got to have that constant relationship, and you got to keep going. Okay, so let's say we'll use the example of reading the Bible and praying and having hardships and going through things. What are you going to do? Well, you read, you pray, you endure, and you do it again. You just keep doing it again. This time, maybe the next time you can do it. Let's say we're referring to reading the Bible. Maybe next time you've already read a book, read it again, but with a commentary, with a side book with you that can help you. Or you can do that with a friend, have somebody with you to read it with, or family members, involve them as well. Whatever you do, just don't stop. Don't become complacent enough that you're just standing still, you're not moving forward. Okay. So what is the point of continuous, prayer? We're going to keep going. We're going to keep going. And then at the end, what? Well, that is going to be to your advantage, because again, just that movement is what's going to stir activity. So if you stop at one stage because you're complacent, and you're going to have your prayer life stop, which actually is probably one of the main reasons why we become complacent. I think we get to a point where, okay, I'm really doing really, really well, and I'm doing good here. And then you kind of slow down, and then you think, well, yeah, but you're almost like depending on past prayers to get you going. Okay, so that is very dangerous. Stopping prayer in a Christian's life is a very dangerous thing. No matter who you are, no matter what God has done through you, no matter what amazing service you have been a part of, you are only as powerful and useful as your current prayer life. Would you agree? Okay, nodding your head. And then can you give an example of a time where that did not happen? Can you give an example of something like that either you personally, that could have not happened? You've depended so much, you've been complacent, you've depended so much on things, past behaviors, you've done it before, God will get you through it. I'll give you an example. How about, let's say, Sunday school, okay? You are a year 3 Sunday school servant, and you've been in year 3, let's say now for 3 years, okay? 2, 3 years, whatever. And it's the same lesson again. And no need for me to prepare, no need for me to do anything. I'll just read it on my way to church or just before I walk into class. That's kind of being complacent, because you're not really growing. You're not letting anything new come in. You're just assuming, okay, I've got this, I've had this, I've done it before, everything's okay. So that's an example. An example from the Bible, let's say King David. So this man, he wrote Psalms. He won against Goliath. He was anointed by God. He had so many victories. He was the great king of Israel. They're still talking about him. God said of him, he's a man after my own heart. But then David committed adultery and murder. So you can't, again, depend on just past experiences to continue your own spiritual life. Does that seem to make sense? Yes? No?
Yeah.
Everybody. Thank you. Good. All right. So this is the same for people today. You might hear of people who have fallen, who have done things that you think, I would never have ever imagined in my life that person could have done something like that. But they've done so many good things before that. Does that mean that, we negate everything that they've done in the past that was good? No, but it does prove a point. It proves that your past pursuit of God, it won't just get you through the present and the future. It's a constant work. You cannot be complacent about things, and especially about your prayer life. Okay. So what does it mean? You need to pray. You need to continue praying. And in Ephesians it says, praying always with all prayer and supplication in the Spirit, being watchful to this end with all perseverance. Regardless of what happens, pray and continue to pray. Just keep repeating. In Psalm 1 it says, blessed is the man who walks not in the counsel of the ungodly, nor stands in the path of sinners, nor sits in the seat of the scornful. But his delight is in the law of the Lord, and in his law he meditates day and night. Do we honestly meditate about his word day and night? Again, it's just something to continually do. Somewhere you've got to understand that relying on God is extremely important. Even though you've done so many great and wonderful things in the past, you've got to continue with that. It's not a once-off event that gets you through to everything. It's a continuous relationship and effort from you. And you know what it is. Everybody knows what we have to do. You've just got to keep going. Got to pick yourself up and keep going. Do not be complacent and don't limit yourself. I've got a very silly video to show you, and I hope it works. Can it work, Abuna? Is it coming up? Yeah. Yeah, it's okay.
Do I like my Sunday school class? Absolutely. I feel like it's a perfect fit for who I am and where I'm at with God. I feel like I can really excel in this group. I tried other classes at church, but I don't know, they just weren't really for me. It's hard to get out of bed and drive all the way down to church if you're not getting anything out of the class in the first place. But this one, it just really gels with my personal learning style. I feel like Mrs. Evans really understands how to teach to me. I think she's pretty impressed with my Bible knowledge too.
Who built the ark?
Noah? Was it Noah?
Yes.
I knew it. Where were you guys at? I know what people say, but no, it's not just the snacks and songs that make it a better Sunday school class. I feel like I really connect with the other students here too.
So who do you like better, Spider-Man or Batman? Yes. I just got the new Spider-Man shoes the other day. They're really fast.
And Mrs. Evans, she just makes the word come alive with all those big pictures and take-home papers, and she just really brings it down to my level. Jesus! It was Jesus. Jesus said that. Yes! Oh yeah, of course Sunday school is important. As long as it's not too difficult and you feel comfortable in it. I mean, I've been in Mrs. Evans' Sunday school class 15 years now. I'm not going anywhere. Yo, teach! I get another one of these?
It was a bit of a silly one, but okay. Tell me, what was it trying to say? No, that's it. You've got to answer. We're not going to continue. You've got to answer. It was a silly video that was trying to make a couple of points. What would it have been?
I think he kind of said it. Sorry, I think he kind of said it pretty clearly towards the end there.
Yeah.
In that he's been there for 15 years and he's pretty comfortable where he is because it's easy understanding of what God means to him and what religion all is to him.
Yeah. Go on. Yeah, man.
Like you said, he got too comfortable in his current state that his spirituality didn't pursue, it didn't go forward.
Yeah. Could he have? Could he have gone off and, reached maybe year 2 level?
Yeah, but it's true what they say, you only do, if you don't want to change, then you're not going to. And
Yes.
He wasn't in the mood to change for whatever reason because he was satisfied with, like we were talking about with complacency, is satisfaction, and he's satisfied in where he is now.
He's completely convinced that he's just doing everything beautifully, and that's the difference with being complacent. Being in that position, you feel like this is the best you, and that takes away from what potential God has for you, and you are taking away from the potential of the gifts God has given you that you should be using for His service.
I know it's a setting of a Sunday school class and everything else, but if you guys can maybe reflect on it as where we're sitting right now, like in church, and this is like the Sunday school class in a way, and during the liturgies and all the services, and it's like us just sitting spectators in this experience all the days of our life, and that's it, and we don't do anything else beyond that. And that's, I suppose, as what I saw in that. Yeah, it's like a little childish sort of video, but it also reflects our experience as a community when we're sitting in that same, like I know some people that will actually go to the same spot. If this is the spot I'm on some, sorry, but a lot of times ladies more than the guys, forgive me, But look, I'm not being sexist. I'm just. No, but Murray moves to the here and there and there. It's not Murray. But there are others that actually the same seat and that's it. And there's no. It's like this is what I have to do, and there's nothing else that I do. It's just that I sit on that seat. That's it. It's not you. It's not you. Not. And it becomes a problem because nothing is evolving in one's life towards God, yeah, which is a problem.
I'm not attacked, it's fine. Also, just like there was a sense of, I guess every time he got the right answer, it was a sense of fulfillment, like, oh, it's like that's his way of boosting up his spiritual, like, life.
Yeah.
But it's the bare minimum.
It is the bare minimum.
Like, for us to look at it, you'd think that that's the bare minimum. But for him, it's like, oh, I was low. I'll just go back to the Sunday school class that will make me feel better again. And it's like he goes through this state of lowness to complacency, lowness back to complacency, and that's where he's comfortable. For whatever reason, it could be like just his sense of pride or ego or whatever it is. But there was also like that showing through with the video.
Mm. Yes.
No.
I have a kind of like a try and help me understand this question. With complacency, like, is it bad to have a routine? Like, you know, there is like, where do we draw the line between I have like my own, I wouldn't say canons, but like my own things that I do that are,
Yes.
you know, walking along my path kind of thing, and they are not comfortable, but comfortable. Not in a bad way where it's like, oh, I can't get past this. But it's like, if I don't do them, then I'm kind of falling behind. And then there's that, but then there's also the, okay, no, I'm just comfortable. I'm chill within this realm of, here is my box and I stay in this box. Like, is there a spiritual routine where you can be comfortable and that's still okay? Or do you always have to be like suffering?
No, I think you're right. It's very important to make the understand the difference between not just being complacent and comfortable, but there's things that you've experienced and you know this is what works best, and you know that, and there are things that you've got to apply that to 100%. But if it becomes a regular thing in life, and quite often it happens not just in your own life in service, it could be in your personal life. You're not moving, you're not in your, let's say, education wise, career, in a lot of things, your relationship with others. If you're still looking at yourself and you're finding that your relationships are still problematic, you're not doing anything about it, well, you need to have that assessment. You have to have that. And again, look, we say it so many times and it sounds like it's just this thing that we say, but this is it. You got to have a spiritual father. You've got to speak to your confession father / spiritual father. You've got to get them involved. You've got to not just have them involved, but you've also got to, have that ability to assess the situation also. But you need to continue, be on top of reading your Bible and praying and doing everything. And if your bare minimum is okay, let's say someone has actually reached a Agbeya prayers where they're able to get up and do all 7 of the Agbeya prayers throughout the day, every day, and they're doing it. And they've been doing it for years. Are they being complacent? I think that's very hard to do, first of all. But okay, another example. Okay, that one might be a little tricky. But in exactly the same scenario, but somebody who's reached doing, let's say, their Agbeya prayers morning and night, and they're really happy that they've reached that level. Is there more that they can do? I don't know.
Reflect on what Rose is saying with what you said. So the idea of, do I need to continually suffer? while I'm trying to achieve these tasks that I know that are important, I think what we all have to be aware of is this, right? God looks at your heart and loves you, right? God really loves us. So it's not that if you do more, God is going to love you more, because we can fall in that trap. It's like, okay, if I'm going to do more, then God's going to love me more, and you always feel God doesn't love me enough. I've got to do more. I think that's where the problem is, and that's not the topic. That's not about complacency. Is know for sure God loves us, and He is with us, and He's our Creator who, went all the way to the cross for our sake. But doing more is actually for me. It's actually benefiting me. It's getting me to become stronger. It's getting me to be sharper. I'm trying to do more because it's actually going to better me for my personal journey, for my discernment, from wisdom, strength against sin, all that kind of stuff. But don't link it to God is going to be pleased with me if I do 20 Psalms instead of the 2 Psalms. It doesn't work that way. God is pleased with your character and your being as a godly person. That's what matters. Your mind is a godly mind that worships and honors God. And then you're doing those extra things because you want to better your character, your being, and so forth. I think that link is so important not to mix, otherwise it gets really messy. And you always live in that guilt that God doesn't love me enough. And that's a horrible experience. Don't ever do that.
I find that in order to know you're complacent, you need to have self-awareness. And if you're stuck in a massive loop of just whatever you do in your daily life, you may not notice that you're being complacent. So if that's the main trigger to then take steps to fix complacency, how do you kind of, put a chink in the chain and say I'm being complacent when you're just stuck in your day-to-day kind of rhythm?
That's a very, very good question. I think that being complacent is going to make it very hard for you to realize that, because you're way too comfortable and you're actually quite happy with where you are. But sometimes it could be a trigger where somebody is going to mention something to you, or you're noticing others reacting to certain situations that you probably wouldn't react to the same way. It is hard. Sometimes it's difficult, but that self-check is very important. Actually, we're going to have a look at... No, we've already done this guy. Okay. What is the cure? What is the cure? We'll get to that point in a sec. The only cure to complacency is a passionate pursuit of Jesus Christ. If we're referring to now being complacent in our spiritual life, I think often it is hard to notice that we are in that cycle of, yeah, I'm doing everything okay, I'm ticking all the boxes, everything's fine. But I think there's a deep down urge that we are going to have to eventually face and realize. And if you're seeing people are telling you, hey, for example, you're going to a talk and they're saying increase this or do that, and you're not, well, something's wrong there if you're not clicking yourself out of that situation. Get yourself to Christ and continually pursue Him. I think that is very important. I press on towards the goal to win the prize for which God has called me heavenwards in Christ Jesus. We've got to just come to the point of realizing that we cannot be complacent ever. We have to stand on God always, continually pray. And for example, at work, well, maybe not, well, depends on where you work, but in a lot of places, which is, I got this here from, like, it's complacency in the workplace, issues that people have found were problems in the workplace, and they came up with these things. And sometimes it's easier to get out of that than in your own spiritual life, because you've got somebody checking on you and saying, hey, look, you haven't been doing this, or hey, you're not doing that. So I thought as an activity, if you guys could, please, can we actually we'll make it girls and boys? It seems to be kind of fair. If we can divide into two groups, please, and we'll change the word workplace. The girls can change it to the word service, and the boys can change it to my prayer life. And if you go through that, now these are things that are complacency issues in the workplace that seem to stop people from growing in their careers or as a whole, as a group of things that would stop them from doing things. So like becoming disengaged, you stop thinking, you stop taking initiative, you don't invest in them, in yourself, you become disgruntled with your current career destination, you take shortcuts, you don't take any risks, and you lose your passion at work. So this has been the top reasons for people not moving forward in the workplace. So if you can write down remedies for these things in those things. So the boys are doing for your prayer life and the girls doing it for service. Would you be able to do that? And
Boys that way, girls this way. Come forward. Come forward.
so write it on a piece of paper.
Oh, your mobile. There's no paper.
Huh?
Can we go back to it because they need to
Oh,
see it?
yeah, sorry. Okay. You got 8 points, and you're going to come up with 8 solutions.
Piece of paper?
Just yeah, fine. That would be easier.
Okay. Alright, so we're talking about complacency in our service. And we're trying to find a remedy for going from disengaged to engaged. Is it for each?
Yeah. What is it something that you would do to remedy being disengaged in the service? You're not in it.
Something that comes straight to mind, resonates with anyone, but when I started with service, I had this false pretense where the harder I served, the more results I would see, visually see. And then when I didn't see the result, I would ask, what's wrong with me? Why am I failing at this thing? But I think if we can understanding of service, like why you are serving, what the purpose is, how you can see it. It's not necessary for you to see the result. And God is using you without the result. Maybe the hand of God is being placed without you having to physically witness that you reaping your reward. And then that helps me re-engage. Be like, okay, it's not necessary for me to see, and I might not necessarily be doing it wrong. And then that kind of like re-engage. So if you're disengaged, when you find out why you're disengaged, and why is feeling that this part of your life, is it because you might not be understanding the purpose, or is it because something else, another trigger? So I disengage. Someone else do the next one.
I just read it as trying to go you're redesigning service, and in order to do so you need to reflect on yourself.
You stop thinking. They stop thinking. It's already being thought for you. You just keep going. You just do it. It's like mindless. Yeah, it's mindless.
So trying to build an awareness of mindfulness. Yeah. Which means starting to like take note of what it is like. I guess when you're praying in church, you're actually serving. So if you're standing on Sunday, maybe it means that you're being mindful of what words are coming out of your mouth and actually stopping and reading what's on
on the TV screens and going, that's pretty cool. Because that's the thing, sometimes we're just singing because the deacons are singing, that's our part. So we just sing too, and that's all we do. But now we're stopping and reading, and we're actually think that I'm back to sing engagement. What did I just say? Being fun. Stop taking initiative. It's just like going out of your way to do things.
Really, you need something to say for sure. I can see it. I can see it.
That's a first. How do you start to become responsible again for your own actions? Because the initiative is like, oh, I'll go out of my way to do X, Y, Z. Oh,
Doesn't stop taking initiative and being disengaged. Don't they kind of work hand in hand? And when you're disengaged, you really want to be an acting.
What about being, I think taking initiative, sometimes are coming up with ideas and people put them down. So then you stop that. So then you think you're not being encouraged, so it doesn't help.
I was actually going to say that you do one thing for every person.
Okay.
Because in service, the whole idea is that you're serving other people, serving Christ. Like in that, you end up serving yourself, but you don't realize that that's what you're doing. So you're taking the initiative like one step forward to be like, today I'm going to work, which is not something that I normally do, but I'm going to just do it, which is also legitimately something. You're not. But that's just my take on it. I don't know.
Yes. You're a good group to babysit. What's up next? Don't invest in themselves. What's something that you would in the service? Complacency just means you're so comfortable with everything you do, so happy with all you've done. You don't see a reason to change or to do anything better. Or worse, or trying to work, so you just stay as a little dot there, not moving.
Actually, yeah, that's pretty good. Do we like graphs? This is you on the graph. The idea is you want to move there. If you get there, then we don't invest in yourself.
What is
Wait, in themselves, like you as the individual?
You as an individual, I guess in the workplace, I guess you, in
It's like
that,
upskilling.
yeah, you're doing lots of different
Oh,
things.
like you're not trying to reach like attain bigger goals.
Yeah. I think in your spiritual life would be like, oh, you're not, striving to know more. You feel like, oh, I know enough. That's good enough for me. So a remedy for that would be to continue to want to pursue knowledge and not just stop with where you're at. Yeah.
Very good. Continuous.
Disgruntled with your current career.
So with your service.
I think that kind of goes back to that disengagement again, because if you're disgruntled, if you're disengaged, you don't look at it in the best of light. You just see it as this mess or whatever it is that you like look at it as. So if you're not like able to redefine your own service and have that reflection of yourself, then you can't necessarily move forward.
What was that again?
If you're not able to redefine the service.
Redefine the service? So in what way?
Yeah, like what service means to you and its purpose to you.
Okay.
Then you So I think it goes kind of hand in hand with this because
we feel like
We don't like. So what are we saying about being disgruntled? So just redefining what service means to you.
and
its
possibly
purpose.
exploring, I don't know if I'm right in saying this, but exploring different options if you really can't do what you're currently doing. Being like,
Expand.
yeah, like
Go
do
out there and do
different.
something else. Yeah. Taking. Okay, Sandy, taking shortcuts. Take that one. Yeah, that shouldn't be hard, yeah. What shall we do to not take shortcuts in the service? What else? Other people? Anybody else with Sandy?
it seems like people just follow what everyone else does. They don't want to do something new. Try to like, even if it takes a longer way to learn how to do something, just do it.
So,
Just don't take the lazy way.
more creative as well. Try to be more creative.
Committing yourself. So I spoke to someone a couple months back so sometimes it's a matter of like really committing yourself. I spoke to someone a few months ago who just said that they went in so many services and they just lost, like, I'd say some of that would be ticked off, lost their passion, they just couldn't devote themselves fully to it and they just weren't interested in it. And it was just because they were just saying yes to everything that came up because they got very excited from the get-go. So I think that that's something that can kind of catch us off guard as well.
Yeah, I think that also ties into not investing in yourself.
Yeah, I was just gonna say we need to take that on board as well. Our own spiritual life.
You sign up to
Learning how to say no.
Do you reckon?
Yeah.
Do you reckon that is the main goal, the remedy? I mean, that will end up being a result, but the remedy itself would have to be you.
investing in yourself in that time that you say no. So like you're saying no, but what are you doing in that time?
Yeah, because you can end up saying no to everything and suddenly you're doing absolutely nothing. Because that would not necessarily always be the wisest thing to do. So in just discernment, trying to understand what is it that's...
I feel like being selfish only when it comes to your spiritual life. Like that's the only time you should really, if you feel like it's not really going to add or take away from it.
Yeah. The only thing is, like I was just saying, that initially becomes like the aim, but it slowly.
But you start to use it as an excuse.
Yeah. It kind of like to me, I know me. Like I'm just saying, me, I can so easily fall into that. Okay, don't take any risks. That one's a funny one.
What does a risk look like
In service. Okay, let's say the risk is that you are going to be emotionally involved with the people you are serving. And that's a risk because one, you could end up being emotionally drained. You could end up very distressed with outcomes. Things just don't go your way or the way you thought things would go. I think that's how I would. Anybody else see it?
Not the right people for this.
Okay. Yeah. Just so not opening up to potential things as well.
We usually sort of people try skills.
Yeah.
It's not like you read something.
Yeah, I've spoken to people who ask them like, oh, why do you try and do this service? No, it's not for me. How do you know? Oh, I just know. It's just not something that I want to do. And I don't know if that's them having discernment or them just not being able to take a risk. But I don't know how to remedy that because I can't really
think that was the question that Andy was asking. Like, how do you get yourself? How do you know that you are in that situation? Yeah.
Some people get influenced by what other people say. So they say, oh, like this service is just too much. So people get influenced and say, oh, it may be too much for this, but let's have to try. So what's the remedy?
Yeah. What is the remedy? If you're a person who's not taking any risks in the service, what is the remedy for that? And that's probably the one that I was waiting to hear what others would say about.
Take baby steps.
Okay, that's a very good. Okay.
I would actually say that it might, when you're trying to calculate this, trying to weigh up return versus cost, essentially, how much am I giving and risking, how much am I getting back? Sometimes it's really easy to have your own ideas and, you might be looking through what someone else has said, but if you run it by maybe a confession father, but if he's not accessible, we say your confession father is your cornerstone, he's the one who's your guide. There are people who are also spiritual guides, and it's important to, when a book is not available, don't just put it in the too hard basket and tell us I'll leave it till next month when I can see it. Conversation with people who are considering in your life. Be like, hey, I'm considering this service, what do you think? Can we pray about it? Can we put before God together and see, what it would be like? And it's hard to assess and analyze on your own because, like you said, sometimes you can have some some thoughts already, and you can have your own guarded approach. But if you have other people who can look at it clearly and maybe not like you would look at it, it's a nice perspective. So run it by others, I would say, but not like Bob down the road. Hey, hi, I've just met you 6 minutes ago. You know nothing about my spiritual life. What do you think about this service?
I think that would really go with this point.
Yeah. Is there passion?
Oh yeah. Yeah, that would really good.
Okay, that's.
What's another way you could have someone who's not taking any spiritual risks and then encourage them to do that? So one thing is discussing and talking.
I like the baby steps one. That is like little. Okay, you don't have to. Okay, if you really don't want to do Sunday school, or I keep using Sunday school. I don't know why, but I guess in that because that's just what a lot of people used to say to me. Based on I want to talk to kids. My kids, I hate kids. I can't stand them. I want to throw them out the window.
That's what I said.
Someone said that to you? Oh my gosh.
A few people, not one. Many. But yeah, so it maybe not go to that. And then there's others who said, no, I don't want to do primary. No, oh my gosh, I can't stand them. They're little rats or whatever. Or other people say, no, I can't work in that service. I can't go in that service. The other servant there is really, really difficult or whatever. Or oh, this is too much for me. I can't do that. I can't commit, and I don't want to disappoint God. I don't want to. That seems to be a very common saying. It's, yeah.
Okay, so I'm doing
She's doing pre-service now.
I'm trying. Okay, so I'm doing pre-service.
She's doing pre-service.
Yeah. And so something that's really nice at the Sunny is like I didn't know that we had to do this, but we have practice.
Yeah.
I did not know about practice. Yeah, because like a minimum of like 20 hours or something like that. It's really intense. But like I guess it's a good opportunity to see what you're going to be doing in service. A lot of people that like I have a friend that got a teaching degree, and she literally just did pracs, and from doing pracs without even getting a job, she realized she didn't want to do teaching. So it's like a good idea to get the gist of what you're going to do.
So are we still on the don't take any risks thing?
Oh, sorry,
No, is it? Is that what you're saying, referring to?
I think it ties into baby steps.
Yeah, I think so.
Ties into
Yeah.
I have no idea.
Yeah. No, that's right. I think so too. I was thinking the don't take any risks. Anybody you want to add anything to don't take any risks?
Just the last thing, you don't have to do Sunday school stuff.
Definitely.
You can just do like service like cleaning the church
Yes.
Or join the band and we're recruiting one.
Go for it. Or
has
do
no
that.
musical skills.
It doesn't have to be something Jewish.
See, that's
If you hear my
where
voice,
discernment
you'll
would
hear
come in.
the band.
Do you really want to hear my musical skills? I mean, you can if you want to.
Okay, I think we got that one all right. Lose your passion. How do you lose your passion in service? That can happen so easily. Burnout, your spiritual life itself is not up to scratch, maybe.
Routine or external things like having too many things at once and then
Yeah.
like, oh, this is too much for me, like just cancel that one out. I was just saying, like, having too many things on your plate and then saying, like, oh, like, well, I'll just leave service out just because
Yeah,
I've got too much going on.
yeah, deprioritize.
Yeah.
You know, another point I would say is that sometimes service isn't necessarily like just quick, but it's not necessarily something that you like straight away, but sometimes it's just important.
Yeah.
Like, sometimes you will be asked, and that is God calling you to do this. And sometimes if we rely it based on just how we're feeling or just how we go through the first few weeks, it can be a bit deceiving because you never know how God will use you in His miraculous plan. And so that's why if you ever have these key things happening in your service and then your answer is I'm going to drop the service, that's never the answer. You have to have some sort of check with the one and be like, hey, this is happening to me, what can we do together? At the end of the day, He knows you really well, He knows your personality, traits, weaknesses, whatever, and He'll direct you in another way. But sometimes basing it just on how we feel isn't there.
Exactly, and what you're saying is exactly true for like the opposite, where you've got a honeymoon period where, oh, everything's going great, wonderful, wonderful, and everybody's helping me, and everybody's doing so good, the kids are angels, and oh my gosh, the cleaning is done so quickly, and everything's brilliant, and suddenly, bam, no, things aren't going so great. And then it's like, yeah, I don't know if this is for me.
Yeah, I think this one is a little bit of a tricky one to run with because
Maybe continuous check-ins, continuous
self-awareness of when you're feeling that way before it gets too much.
yeah.
Also, self-awareness of when you're actually at this point.
Yeah.
Because maybe that's the thing that will help reignite because you're like aware of, oh, I'm at a high right now. So what did I do that got me to this point? And it doesn't mean that you're going to recreate it and repeat it every single time that you're low. Because you will be at a different point every single time that you're low for whatever reason. So you can't just think that, oh, Maria's going to be the same way and Maria knows how she's going to be able to lift herself up because she did it once. She can do it again and she's going to do it exactly the same as the last time. But at least having that awareness of this is what happened during the process.
And then also just on loss of passion, something that really comes to mind is when we serve a lot, sometimes it's a common misconception that the more I serve, the closer I am to God and the more full I'll feel. But sometimes what can happen is while you're serving, you're running out of steam and then you don't have that connection with God, you don't have that union, and that will make you lose your passion. So it's important, I think, to make sure that you don't replace your own spiritual connection with God with service and then be like, oh wait, I feel dry and empty and I can't feel like, I don't know how to serve these people. We always say, feel yourself, feel we didn't have one for initiative.
Initiative? Stop taking initiative. Oh, really?
how we spoke about what initiative means in different contexts or in different understandings of that.
Martina has something very, very good. Taking initiative.
Stop taking initiative in yourself. How would you say to her? What would you say to her going back?
Which is which
I can give you so many other ways that actually maybe like what you were saying before, just do small things. Yeah. Like really, really little things like smile at Tanta. Even though she annoys you, you smile.
But don't forget it's saying stop taking initiative. So you were somebody who was already taking initiative before and you just suddenly stopped. So maybe just yeah, that's what that's what I mean. Discourage them or whatever. So maybe try to find
Help them join them in what service they do. Maybe they need motivation. They'll step up on that.
yeah.
Sorry, say it. You guys said again?
I feel like it ties into like if you stop taking initiative, you've probably kind of in a way lost your way. You kind of feel like you may have lost your edge or your passion for what you're doing, and you feel discouraged to put off it. And so I think it's like to do something to get yourself energized back into it.
Right.
Don't know what, but something.
They kind of are all very much connected. You can't probably have one without the other or one without the other. All right, so the boys had, so the boys had complacency in my prayer life, going through each of the points, and the girls had complacency in service.
Mario or Arsene? Andrew, Andy.
Oh, there's a laptop too. How
There's a
fancy.
laptop. Whoa!
Do you want a PowerPoint presentation?
We took notes and we worked hard and we were not complacent.
There's a few points, so I'll read out maybe one or two from each. So becoming disengaged as a consequence of complacency, the remedy for that, or a few of them, would be finding new ways that suit you, finding different prayers, or remembering God's presence.
Actually, sorry, one second. Can we like do it one like the same?
Okay.
That way.
There's a second mic.
So sorry, can you repeat that again for being disengaged? I was disengaged for a second.
So the remedies we had for becoming disengaged were finding new ways that suit you, as in finding different prayers, and remembering God's presence.
We said that you should try to redefine service in a way that makes you understand its purpose again, as well as having some time to reflect on yourself in order to find that purpose.
For stop thinking, we left it blank.
Seriously.
I promise.
No, yeah, legitimately, I'm looking at it right now, and I didn't think just then. We said having mindfulness. So we know that when we are praying in church, like that's part of our service as well. And it's like having the time to stop, read what's actually on the screen, and read the words carefully before you sing them. And that's you actually having an awareness of what's going on around you, because sometimes we do find ourselves that we're not thinking about it, we're just singing because we know it and we've been hearing it since we were baptized into the church. So we're kind of on overdrive at that point.
For stop taking initiative to pray, could be due to not going to church because of a confrontation. The remedy for that would be to change your environment, praying with your family, getting support, reaching out for people to pray for you. Remember the reasons and times when you felt God's guidance, and don't lose initiative, keep going.
I don't know what we said for initiative.
Oh, that was the last one that we revisited.
Yeah, we tried to, we revisited that one, but we still didn't come to a proper conclusion. And I'll tell you why at the end. Stay tuned, kids. Move on.
So another consequence of being complacent is not investing in yourself. So not putting the time and energy into yourself or prayer cannot help others if you are not filled up yourself. When you invest in others and not yourself and burn out, and when you burn out, you lose your zeal. When you don't invest in yourself, you lose your purpose.
We spoke about pursuing knowledge continuously as a way to invest in yourself, as well as sometimes in service we have like a million people saying you should do this, and then you end up saying yes, yes, yes. So trying to have discernment in the word no and when it's appropriate, because what you don't want is saying no to everything and then you end up having no service at all. So understanding what you can do and what you can't. No, I said investing in yourself.
So
destination.
Okay, so becoming disgruntled with current spiritual/prayer life, engage with the spiritual father so he can assist in guiding you. Become more reliant on the Holy Spirit by sincerity, godly heart, honesty, and faithfulness. And you may become disgruntled because you think you are meant to progress and make yourself progress, but it's because of God that you progress, not you.
Yeah, cool. We spoke about how potentially, like maybe after speaking with your confession father, obviously, like try and expand and go out there and do something else. It might be like something that you can do as a short service instead of something that's long term, maybe as a way to help you. And I guess this will go back to the last point, which a lot of it does go back to it just interweaves with one another. But yeah, just expand, go out there and do something.
So taking shortcuts when you're complacent. So words of the Lord are to be tasted, absorbed, and reflected upon, not just a checklist and a tick of the box. It was never meant to be easy. Jesus' path was not short or easy. We're meant to suffer, and shortcuts are usually an easy way out. When you lack, ask God to help and support you in it.
We spoke about how we should be aware of our time management, and if you're a person that's not very good at time management, then maybe having different services isn't necessarily the best thing for you. So again, going back to saying no with discernment, and as well as maybe you want to try and be more creative and find more creative outlets in order for your service, or for your service to thrive, in a sense, not for yourself, for others.
So not taking any risks in your prayer life. So the remedy is sacrificing what you are relying on so you can rely on God more. And you must submit something over for God to work. Take more risks to be connected to God. So essentially it's just letting go of what you're normally relying on in your day-to-day life and relying more on God. So it could be whatever you're addicted to.
Thank you, Andy. We said, I feel like I've already said this, but like taking baby steps and not just jumping into the deep end, And that could be by doing little services like maybe saying yes to once a month of cleaning the church. And I know it's not necessarily a little service, but in the eyes of other people, like sometimes I don't think about the fact that the church is clean every Sunday. It just happens miraculously. No, because somebody's actually out there and doing it for us, which is great. What?
Little do they know.
Little do they know, it's very difficult to clean this place. And also speaking to your spiritual father, but also not using that as an excuse to not stop you, not using that as an excuse, like if your spiritual father is not somebody that you can have contact with like every Friday night, for example, maybe he's a person that you need to speak to once a month. For whatever reason, you can't use that as an excuse to stop you from taking the risk. So try and reach out to people that are, and I quote, pillars of faith in your life.
Yeah, so that kind of touches on with our remedy for losing your passion in prayer. So it's easy to lose motivation along the way. I guess what we kind of summarize there is that you're not alone in this. Get people to pray for you and support you.
And for us, we said to just try and do continuous check-ins, which I think when we were talking about this, a lot of it was like, oh, that kind of leads into this and that kind of leads into that. And so trying to do all of these remedies that we were like both talking about, I think the first step is, as we were saying earlier, is trying to have that moment of reflection. And that means that throughout your service, you are trying to check in on yourself, check in on what you did, and not in a sense that's like prideful or anything, but just so you can be aware of where you are at in a healthy way. And if you don't know how to do it healthy, maybe speak to your confession father. That's all, folks.
Thank you. I think what I would like to do, very, very, very quickly, I know it's very, very late, but I'm just going to go very quickly again to the, for those who are late, complacency, just very quickly, a feeling of smug or uncritical satisfaction with oneself or one's achievements. Someone who's completely happy with what they're doing all the time, no problem, so you're not going to try harder, you're not going to get better. That's what our point was, that we were trying to avoid that in our spiritual life so that you don't stand still, you don't just stop, you don't just say, okay, I'm happy with the status quo, everything here is good, that you're continuously moving. Do not be like the hare in the tortoise and lose the unlosable race, and just keep going, keep moving, keep growing, and that's what you should do. Rely on God always, not on yourself. Thank you.
All right, thank you for that. I hope for all of us to be encouraged to move forward and be more and more zealous to grow in the Spirit, asking God to do that in our own lives. So announcements, there is that camp coming up, the Winter Challenge camp in the wilderness of near Wollongong Way, for only one night, and it is intense, and Mario is encouraging us to not be afraid and to know that you will be able to overcome, and do not at all be discouraged by the fear of the cold. I don't know how to disconnect this. Oh, got it. There it is. Okay. Another announcement, please. Anyone got no more announcements happening? There is a feast coming up.
So next week we are blessed to have Abuna Krolos from St. George, Kensington. Yeah, we've got Abuna Krolos from St. George, Kensington coming next week. And the topic will be how to create an altar to the Lord at home. So what we experience here at church, how we can recreate that back at home in our daily lives. So please join us next week at 8:30. I do apologize, I was late today, but yeah, I know. Sorry for that. But we'll be over in the English church, okay? So don't come here. Go to the English church because there'll be Vespers for Archangel Michael's feast. What's the food today?
So this coming Friday night, Bishop Daniel is joining us in the Vespers, right? So we're praying at 7 p.m. We start at 7 p.m. here at Archangel Michael altar. After we finish, he will continue with the Arabic community, and we will be moving. We will be in the St. Stephen's Church for the youth meeting, as Philo just mentioned, with the Bonacrolos, to go ahead and listen to that beautiful topic. So this is the Feast of Archangel Michael. So please come and join us if you can. 7 p.m. Okay, really, really important.
And today we are having loaded hot dog. Loaded hot dog. Apparently it's different from a regular hot dog.
Eat it. Be quiet. Oh, Rose. No, you just, baby you is nice. No, you should stay. Do we pray first? Yeah, no, we sing first and then I pray. Sure. Hold it for us both. This tall. You are. Do you need one?
Sometimes I think, what will people say of me when I'm only just a memory, when I'm home where my soul belongs? Was I loved when no one else would show up? Was I Jesus to the least of us? Was my worship more than just a song? I wanna live like that and give it all I have, so that everything I say and do points to you. If love is who I am, this is where I'll stand. Recklessly abandoned, never holding back. I wanna live like that. I wanna live like that. Am I proof that you are who you say you are? That grace can really change your heart? Do I live like your love is true?